Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo. That was kind of a smarmy introduction, wasn't it? Can I try that again? Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, and I'm not as smarmy as I sound. I mean, I don't know what I sound like to you. I don't even know what I look like to you, apart from kind of mussed up. Haven't showered yet today. It's probably TMI, but what do you expect? It's TLDR, the Lockergnome Daily Report. An AMA every day, a Q&A with you and me. And as I said here in the Discord chat, I was thinking about going live here on YouTube in the next few minutes. I said that, obviously, a few minutes ago because I haven't gone this early in ages. And another thing that I have not done in ages is put the chats onto the screen behind me. And even though I know we have not yet hit critical mass, which I think is important, I figured we'd try it anyway. So this is the Discord chat. You can become a member of the Discord chat. It's easy to do. Either subscribe to me on Twitch. Head over to twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo. You can subscribe for free if you connect your Amazon Prime account to it. You get one free sub a month. You may have to resub every month if you go the free route. But still, it's something. And you can also become a patron of mine. Head over to patreon.com/Chris Pirillo. The colors here are a little random, seemingly. We've got white names and purple names and red names and purple. Oh, wait, I already said purple. Orange. Orange is the other color of the name. So you may see those colors show up. Purple means that you're from Twitch and possibly Patreon at the same time. And then yellow means you're from Patreon as a patron and possibly Twitch at the same time because you can do both. So it's there 24/7. And I just added the Chris Pirillo face emoji this morning. You type in colon and you start typing in my name, and then it'll flesh out the rest of it, and you can choose your Chris Pirillo head. So you may see a Chris Pirillo head floating behind Chris Pirillo's actual head. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the questions from either a Discord chat or from YouTube. We'll also take Super Chats if anybody has them. Last night was an amazing time on TLDR with the Super Chats. Later today, I do plan on giving my initial impressions of the LG V30. I've spent a fair amount of time with it. Not an extensive amount of time, just initial impressions. How do I say this? Now, I'll save my reaction for that video, or at least I should. Neil Stapleton asks, Chris, have you found a decent where to watch yet after I'm after one? Oh, you're after one as well, Neil. Android Wear. So, here's the thing. Google basically wiped out all the Android Wear watch options on its new store. I guess I don't really have a problem with that because, they're not Google's products, and I'd rather Google sell Google products. Personally. I mean, I don't want that to get confused, and that would have been pretty confusing. And I'd imagine that's one of the reasons they eliminated Android Wear. But here's the thing. They didn't announce a Pixel Wear device, like an Android Wear 2.0 device in the Pixel range, which is kind of surprising. They didn't say they're working on one. They didn't announce one, and we've seen nothing. So then it makes you kind of wonder. Or at least I wondered. I tweeted this out just a few minutes before going live, as a matter of fact, and I said, maybe, just maybe, they're working on another kind of wearable. Now, I don't think they're going to go back and do the glass thing again. I mean, they may. Or maybe it's just another wearable entirely. I could conceivably see them doing a glass-ish type of experience, but do what Apple is purported to be doing, and that is, basically working on eyewear. Not just the glass implementation of it, but actual eyewear, and using bone connectivity for sound, and maybe the camera's there, maybe the camera's not, augmented reality and all that stuff. I think the watch, and I've said this for the longest time, the watch is just a stopgap. I feel that the watch is incredibly invasive. So no, I have not yet found an alternative. I'd be looking for something clean, simple, straightforward, something that I could basically get in the Apple Watch, which I'm not inclined to wear all that often, but with Android Wear 2.0. I haven't seen anything happening outright, but that's my belief, is that Google would not just be giving up on wearables, but if they did not since they did not come out and announce the Pixel Watch, I would be shocked if it was if the idea of a wearable was abandoned entirely, or if they were also working on an Android watch and just didn't announce it. I think they would have pre-announced something, if anything. Just kind of makes you wonder where it's going. Don't know. I mean, it's interesting speculation. But I am, like I said, still looking for a viable alternative. I found some clean-looking watches outright running Android Wear. but either they're too bulky to get the features that I get in an Apple Watch, or they don't have the features. Like, if I'm going to wear a watch, I need it to have, like, heartbeat monitor and all that stuff. Everything else is just nice on top of that. But, beyond that, I think I'll be fine in not wearing a watch again. And you can still wear the Apple Watch, even if you use an Android phone. It just doesn't have all the functionality, and you need an iPhone to effectively manage the watch outright. So I don't think Apple's going to be changing that strategy anytime soon, all the more reason why it may not be a good thing to jump into. No Super Chats yet, but we do have some questions. And by the way, Bowler Forever, if you remember that handle from the old Chris Pirillo videos from live.pirillo.com, he's back. He's a Twitch sub. And it's good to see Bowler again, virtually. And you want to talk about a bowler? Man, this guy's bowled at least one 300 game. I don't know how many 300 games you've done. Richard's here. And this is another reason to go early, is because I'm able to accommodate people who live well beyond the Seattle time zone. And Richard's on the other side of the planet, literally. The man who introduced me to biltong. And he tells me there's vegan biltong now, too. Kind of excited about that. Elaine. Let me read that again. Alasneo asks, "Hey Chris, you looking forward to the new Battlefront game? Looks good." I haven't watched much gameplay, but I guess the beta for everybody else is available on the 6th? What's today? I'd check my watch, but I'm not wearing one. The 6th! Okay, so the beta's open today. So can I get that for the PS4? Maybe I'll try it. If I can. If I can get it for the PS4, I will. If I can't, I'll wait. I'm not a PC gamer. I'm really a console kind of game player. And if I do play Battlefront 2, I promise you I will stream it onto the Star Wars Radar channel for y'all to tune in and watch. And then you can do Super Chats from there. I haven't tried YouTube Live on the PS4 in, God, forever. But it'll be in the Star Wars Radar channel, just so you know. I saw a question, thought about Fitbit. I'm not into fitness tracking at all. That's not why I'd wear a watch. I don't even know why I'd wear a watch, honestly. I like checking the weather. I like checking the time. I like, sometimes checking the heart rate. But beyond that, I guess the Apple Watch did not capture me. People have asked, if I plan on upgrading to the new Apple Watch. And despite loving the color red, no, I have no inkling to get a new Apple Watch at all. And I'd be debating, well, how would I be even able to sell the current watch? Any of my current hardware that I'm no longer using, it's very difficult to unload some of these things. As much as I'd like to unload the hardware, because I could recoup the cost. Like my old Mac Mini that ran the old YouTube live stream, or no, I'm sorry, the old just live stream in general. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. All the Battlefronts and the watches, and boy, we're off to a rip-roaring start, I'd say. Let's see here. Metallica 61003 asks, "Have your pixels shipped yet?" No, and I'm hitting refresh like every minute. Well, obviously not every minute because I'm sitting here and not hitting refresh. But I'm so excited. I really am, and I got to tell you. No, I'll wait. You got to tune in for the impression of the LG V30. But just okay. Should I spoil it? I'll spoil a little bit. Using this makes me even more anticipatory, or feeling like I can't wait for those pixels to ship. Just using this Android device, so that but that doesn't mean everything. Don't take that ball and run with it, but just understand that it was making me want a Pixel even more. Okay. Oh, hey, we've got a couple of super chats. Santiago Hinojosa broke the seal. Hey, Chris. Favorite feature of the Pixel phones? I'm going to say the camera, because that's a feature I use probably most frequently. That's a great feature, I guess. Well, every phone has a camera. It's how the camera handles photos that I'm happy to see. The portrait mode, we'll see how that plays out, not just with action figures and my toy photography, but also, in general, with, like, does the selfie mode work well, right? And I think another favorite feature is potentially more for Diana, and that is something I alluded to last night in TLDR, and that is like basically unlimited backup of photos for the next 3 years. Rumble Force 2 also comes in with a super chat. Just heard Apple is delaying iPhone 10 until December. Enjoying your TLDRs. Thank you, Rumble Force. I do believe that's not your first super chat. I believe that the iPhone 10 is worth not waiting for. I'm the odd man out, I think. I'm the only one who's like not chasing one down. I'm fine. I've already moved on. Like, I'm good. Yeah, I know that you know, a lot of people are going to be getting it. I don't want to take away from their experience, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if only because of the components that go into building the iPhone 10. I honestly, it looks like the iPhone 10 needs a few more months to bake, and I don't think the iPhone 10 will be hurt by having a more mature iOS 11, which, for all intents and purposes, is immature. And that's not to say that all the jank and sloppiness of iOS is just going to disappear in new hardware, because I don't think it will. I think it's going to get worse. If only with layout stuff. Luke Man Patino, hey Chris, what are some of the benefits of having different YouTube channels, and what are some of the drawbacks? You know, for a while it was maddening, and even right now it's a little maddening, because I know it confuses people, but here's the thing. As we continue forward, it'll become more clear. This particular channel is set up for long-form live video streams with y'all, the Lockergnome Daily Report, so you know you got one long interactive Q&A with you and me every day. The other channel, I'm going to just be doing one topic a day. So you understand, I get to cover as many topics as you want me to cover in Super Chat, or from patrons, or subs, or you know, anybody. But over there, it's about one thing every day. I can't cover everything. And if I put those two videos in one channel, the chances of it getting flooded out are greater, because fewer people would watch the first video, they'd only watch the second, or they wouldn't even see the first video or the second. If you don't watch every video in a channel, it starts to disappear from your subscription list. So some people don't want to tune in, they don't want to listen to me for an hour. Okay, well, then I can't keep them, you know, from watching the other video, or don't want to keep them from watching the other video, and other people, you know, want this kind of interactivity. So I'm trying to accomplish both. It will become a lot more clear over time. I do know that I also do live videos when I feel that it's a special or a bigger event in the other channel, but not as frequently as every day. So hopefully we'll find our way, you know, through this experience, and I think most of y'all have caught on to this outright. The drawbacks is that it increases confusion. But the benefits are that you basically get more content. You're able to see more content, and we're able to do more things together on a daily basis, or a regular basis at that. It's another reason why Star Wars Radar, you know, became that separate channel, so I can put most of my Star Wars stuff over there, the dedicated Star Wars stuff, and potentially use it to be gaming on Battlefront if that becomes a big thing. I'm glad you like that emoji. That was a good emoji. I did these emoji like years ago. And they've been amazing ever since. They're perfect. They're like the best emoji I've ever taken of myself. And someone else converted them to pings, the ping file, PNG. It was a blast when they did that, because then we've never really had a chance to use them. This is like my first Chris Pirillo emoji. I'm kind of happy about that. Not in this emoji necessarily. I can't zoom in any closer on that, but that's the way it goes. Let's see here. Hey Chris, asks Osmo B, did you manage to try out the issues with Twitch? Yeah, I think so. Osmo, all the subs should be synchronized. I just checked this morning again, and all the valid subs, we got 14, which is not bad. That's actually pretty, for me, that's pretty good. But yeah, I think everything should be synchronized now. Thank you for asking. Samsung Gear S3 is fantastic, says LJ Rand 3. That's the one running Tizen. It may be an option. Muffy, the gaming bunny, asks, hey Chris, what age will you let Jedi have a phone? Well, she has a phone. She has not a Pixel. She's got a toy phone that came with her kitchen, and then a Ninjago Lego phone, like a Play Toy Happy Meal toy phone that she wanted. It's kind of neat. Trust me, it's going to be like a matter of 2 years. I'm going to give her 2 years before she is sitting here reviewing phones and gadgets. Watch it happen. Just watch it happen. It's going to happen. We're going to do the daddy-daughter review time. I'm like, all right, Jedi, you spent time with your LG V74, whatever it is at that point, and I did. What do you think? Well, I like this, and I didn't like it. Trust me. It's going to happen. I think it's an amazing thing. If it does happen. In terms of age, you know, I don't know if I have an answer to that question. I think whatever that right age is, where she's mature enough to understand what she's able to do, especially in relation to communicating with other people. You've got to respect the technology before I believe you can understand it, and certainly use it on a regular basis. I think we're going to be limiting time and access. Google does a better job with that than I think Apple does, for certain, is what I should say. But I think the extent of that is going to be dictated specifically by the way I think she handles it and what she's specifically using it for, to be able to not just monitor what she's doing, but specifically what it is she's doing. And if I can dovetail that into something that can show her, okay, look, you're playing a game. Why don't you tell other people why you're playing the game? Why you like playing this game? Bring her in front of the camera, which she's already comfortable in front of the camera, and show her exactly what's going on and what's happening. And I think I'll be able to give her a leg up on that. I just don't know what age. I really don't. I don't have an answer. I apply the Steve Jobs line of thinking, just to kind of limit your child's access to technology as much as you can. He was a big proponent for that, and as am I. I think technology can be abused, and if you don't accommodate it accordingly in your life, you can run into big problems. Bullet Forever's not as big of a Star Wars fan as I am. It's okay. I don't mind. Ronar Iviera, Ron, man, some of these names. Ron Arrivera. I spend half the time saying your names. I am a Twitch sub. How do you chat on there? Oh, the instructions is on my Twitch profile. I'm not going to read them out loud, but check the Twitch profile, twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo. It'll tell you what you need to do between Twitch and Discord if you are a sub. Michael Larson says, long time no see. Yeah, I know. Back in the background. They're there. We are here. Let's see here. Kenobi53 says, you can get on the beta on any platform today. Okay. Maybe later I'll be Battlefront 2ing on my Star Wars Radar channel. You can follow Star Wars Radar on Twitter. I haven't posted a lot lately. I've been kind of busy with the recent announcements, but it's a thing I'm excited about. It's Star Wars. Everyday Izzy. Hey Chris, what's your opinion on the lack of quality for the most part in third-party apps on Android compared to iOS? Could you qualify that? I'm not sure what you mean. So it's not I don't know. When you say quality, what do you mean? Here's the thing you got to remember about iOS versus Android. iOS has got a few different screen sizes, but generally speaking, you know exactly what they're going to be. Android, not so much. So you may have to fiddle a bit more to get your apps to be optimized or optimal on various screens, because there are various resolutions to deal with, and that's just the Wild West of Android. By and large, I think that would be one of the reasons why this would be an issue. We did get a super chat, but it says the message was retracted, so I can't really thank anybody, but thank you for that. Whoever you are, the unknown person. And maybe it wasn't like in terms of quality of layout and design. Could be that they just didn't develop it as well as they could have or should have. I don't download a lot of apps willy-nilly. I'm very careful and very cautious about any kind of new experience I get on any phone, iOS or Android. So luckily I've been able to avoid a lot of low-quality apps or would dump them pretty quickly for a better performing alternative if I could. A faster phone may not mitigate that jank, but it's all about finding one that ultimately works for you. There are a lot of various alternatives, and I would hope that the developers would want the apps to perform well, but it comes down to the developer if they're skilled or if they're not. I tell you, I get rid of apps that don't perform well generally. Certainly, I get rid of them if they don't look nice. That's for sure. Mark Brown says, "What do you think Apple need to do to win you and others that think like you back?" I don't know. I think just get their head in the game again. And I don't know if they will. That's the thing. It's going to take a lot of pain for Apple to change. And I don't know if I'm enough to cause Apple pain. I'm sure a thorn in their side. But, if the so-called techies keep basically applauding Apple's every move, when I don't think they deserve that applause, they're going to see that they're doing the right thing. If people keep buying the products, they're going to see that they're still doing the right thing. So you never know. You never know how that's going to go. I kind of take a wait and see approach. If they do something that impresses me with software specifically, the hardware. I mean, I'm fine with this slab of glass and aluminum. But it's the software that always kind of gives me that overarching experience, and I think it's long overdue. iOS 7 was a reboot that didn't need to happen, and a reboot of the design ethos, or now lack thereof, and they've been cleaning up ever since. I'm just done with it. I'm done. I'm getting out of that cycle. So they'd have to show me that they're serious about it again. Then maybe. Because here's the thing. Once you leave, like, it's very rare that you'd come back. This is something that, even I can speak to, right? Yeah, I've done a lot of Star Wars stuff. I love Star Wars. Some people just don't want that. They only want to hear and talk about tech. Okay, fine. But I don't always want to talk about technology necessarily. I'm here. I've given access in every way that I possibly can, but also accommodated what it is that I want to do with what it is that you would want to do with me. Some people will never come back. Some people will never return to Chris Pirillo. Some people will, but it's harder to come back to something that you feel you lost. It may happen, and so I'm very grateful when I see, hey Chris, I left you for a while, but I'm back. I'm like, well, thank you. I appreciate you coming back, because that says a lot. It really it does say a lot. Especially when it comes to this kind of content. Tyler Dietrich, hey Tyler, comes in with a super chat. Do you have any worries with the quality of apps on Android? It was amazing on iOS, but I had trouble with good replacements on Android. Tyler, let me ask you this: in what way? I mean, because a lot of my apps, I guess the corollaries are equal. Like, I can get the exact same app on Android as I have on iOS, minus Apple's apps, which I'm kind of meh on to begin with. But I look and I get my social apps, minus this. I will need to get a referral for a good Twitter client. I found one on iOS that does both, but it's not designed very well. I mean, it's neat, but it's he made some design decisions that are kind of weird. So I'm going to be on the lookout for a better Twitter client, but Instagram's on both, YouTube's on both, Facebook's on both, Reddit's on both, Pinterest, all the common ones are pretty much on both platforms. I don't need, an extensive amount. All the media apps are on both platforms. Various system apps, of course, are going to be different on any platform. And then you have to kind of wonder, well, why is this installed? Do I need to use it? Can I find an equivalent extension? There are some media creation tools that are going to be different on every platform. But I guess to me, it's not enough of a concern. Those things are nice to have. Are they absolute must-haves? No. They're just nice to have. Very rarely might I use any one of these secondary call apps as much as I would use, let's say, an app that I'd use on a regular basis. So I'm not too concerned. That's my feeling. I'm not worried about it. And if anything, I'll turn to the community like, hey, do y'all know a good this, that, or the other thing for Android? I'd be curious. Spent the morning watching The Night Before Christmas. Corey Moore, my ally. See, I mean, Corey, I know we know each other, but I feel weird if I call you my friend, necessarily, because it's not like you could call me up and say, hey, Chris, I need to move, and I'll be like, whoa, back the truck up, dude. That's physical exertion. I'm out. No, but an ally in the sense that he's got an eye for detail, an eye for quality. He matches my eye. But Jedi has started to watch The Nightmare Before Christmas. She actually likes it, and I'm fine with that, too. I'm quite fine with that. Tyler meant the level of polish on some apps. Flamingo is what I use for Twitter. Okay, I'll have to check out Flamingo, possibly. The level of polish. I guess I have to look. I guess I have to see it for myself. I'll know. This looks different, yes, but is it bad? Is different bad? Because there's definitely different usability going on, different design patterns going on, but you don't know until you actually use it, and it's going to be different for everybody. J Pot Pupples the Third. Hey Chris, do you have a favorite canon Star Wars novel? I'm currently reading Thawne, and it's done brilliantly. I don't have a favorite one outright. I haven't read many things because I've been busy with other things. I'd like to read Thawne. I'd like to read Phasma. I'd like to read Leia, Princess of Alderaan. So many. Actually, if I read a novel in the upcoming months, I'm probably going to have time for what's the new compendium? It's the stories from Far, Far Away. What is it? I can't remember the title, but it's like a series of 40 stories of people who worked with the Star Wars franchise. I can't remember what it is. The title escapes me. I don't have it yet, but it would be like short stories. I'm bigger into short stories than I am longer novels because I want to finish the novel and then I get caught up in it and then I can't do other things. So you would like not see me for like 4 days if I got into a Star Wars novel. Oh man. Oh. Louis asks, what about a good podcast client? I'm moving to, and I'm really going to miss Overcast. That's a good crowdsource right there. Everybody, if you're in chat, whether this is live or not, if you know a good podcast client specifically for Android, someone is looking for one. Kieran Charrington asks, are you going to update to Mac OS High Sierra? I did. It was seamless. A little buggy, but, I haven't run into too many hurdles with it. It's been fine. There's nothing really to write home about. It's an unexciting update. It's an update. Sure, you should get it. You could wait until like maybe the next couple of iterations of point revisions are out. But you'll see as well as I will see. As far as that's concerned, the feeling that I have though is, well, I think you know my feelings by now. I feel. Pocket Cast, Jeremy Curran comes in and says it's awesome for podcasts, and he says it has a web client and is on all mobile. That's not the first recommendation I've had for Pocket Cast. Pocket Cast also carries the Chris Pirillo podcast, which I've not yet recorded. I'll likely be doing that like I've done over the past couple of days. I'll open up a Twitch stream. You can do the call-ins if you download the app. Anchor.fm is where you can get that. And then Chris Pirillo is my handle on there. You can do call-ins. But I've been having fun simulcasting that on chat. It's been about a half hour long, which seems to be about a decent time for a podcast, depending on the topics. Gboy88, good to see you again. Hey, Chris, are you getting the pen for your Pixel book? I am. Don't know if I'm going to use it all that much, but it's kind of like, I got to see what this is about. I haven't used a stylus or a pen in years. Wacom's involved. Okay, I'll give it a shot. I think it's absolutely worth trying. Spotify, also recommended for podcasts. Chris Pirillo is, I think, getting into Spotify. I'm not talking about myself in the third person. That's the title of the podcast. Why? Because that's who people search for. I can't, keep you from searching for the things that you want. Let's see here. Scrolling and looking. I'm sorry, I'm looking for chat questions. Your Twitch isn't live, not right now. If I do Twitch, it's usually IRL in real life, or potentially using it as kind of a, you can tune in and watch me basically record audio. That's what I'm going to be doing. I found, I think, a decent audio recording app too to try. We'll see how that goes. In fact, I think today I'm going to try recording the podcast, if I remember, on the LG V30. Because it's got where the heck is the Essentials? It's got an HD audio recorder with like levels and everything, and I'm going to try to use. Ooh, there's some jank. Not as the animation isn't as fluid as it could be, but like you can do different levels and mixings and everything. So I'm going to try this and see how that goes. Although wait, how am I going to get? Okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to move it from point A to point B. I'm going to think through that, but I'd like to do that if I can. We shall see how that goes. Checking for more questions. I don't stream at the same time on any platform. I kind of mix it up, and because I don't know the best time to do these live streams. And by the way, I apologize for yesterday's problems. No one remembered to remind me to turn off Wi-Fi on my phone. You have to remind me, otherwise the stream may get janky. Yes, my Wi-Fi sucks. It was mentioned that Google Play Music also has a podcast in the app. Good to know. I don't subscribe to a lot of podcasts. I'm more of a producer more than a consumer. I listen to them on demand, typically. Aaron Williams mentions Tidal offers 24-bit hi-fi music and will work great on the LG V30. But I don't have headphones that are great. My headphones generally suck. So again, what's the point? Does the display have an issue with brightness? I wouldn't say so. You can modify the brightness. I'm not having any issues with brightness outright. I mean, that I can tell. I assume you're talking about the LG V30 too. Alan Redding comes in with the next super chat. What are your thoughts about computational photography and the impacts in the industry versus traditional photography? I am in. You know, this is my, okay. Back in the day, you know, you had to take 47 pictures just to get one you liked. Now, you can do the same thing, and I find myself needing to do the same thing, especially even on the iPhone, right? I just want one good shot, and I have to take 10 just to get one. Computational photography may help that ball move forward, and I think Google seems to be leading the pack with this. I mean, look at what they're doing with just one lens. Again, I haven't tested it up close, haven't watched a lot of comparisons yet. I don't even know if there are a lot of comparisons out there, but it seems to be a very good performer, even with one lens. It's what you do with the lens. It's not having two. Two may help and give you bonuses, but if you can do the same thing in software, what's the point? I don't need two lenses to do portrait mode. I need one good lens and great software. Again, it's about the software. I'm not mad. I'm just saying it underscores the point I've been making all this time. So I think Google is absolutely going to be a leader on this front. Apple seems to be chasing hardware and maybe a little bit of software, but the Apple software I can't say has improved all that much to give me one good photo. I just want to take the photo once. Boom, done. That's it. I don't need to take a second photo. I just want to take one good photo. That's all I want. Not 47 mediocre photos. One really good photo. One that I can use. One that I could keep. One that I like. Do you feel me? Does anybody feel me? Not physically. That's just a little weird, especially to do over the internet. But you know, hopefully you understand. Sorry that my phone is still buzzing because the notifications are going off. Alberto with a whole string of numbers. Oh, 1995. I had to look at it a little more clearly. Hi, Chris. What do you think about the Xiaomi M1A1 like a mini Nexus because it's officially supported by Google? Don't have one. I'd like to try one, but I don't have one. So shrug emoji. Maybe I could find someone who's connected to Xiaomi. I'd also like to try the Huawei, what is it, the Mate 10 that's about to come out. I'd like to get into those programs if I could. Getting into those programs, however, is a bit of a hurdle because you got to find the right person. You got to follow up with the right person. You got to connect with the right person. Essential, I believe, is going to be sending me one of their devices. I am looking forward to it, especially with their recent software update. But I want to know how Essential basically accommodated the notch, that camera bulge. Does it work seamlessly? Did it fix the issues that I see with iOS trying to embrace the notch across all apps? That's my problem. It's not that the notch exists. It's about how it's accommodated. If I don't see it in anything apart from the home screen, I'll be fine. You know, if I have to put up with it in every other application, it's just like, it's just going to get in the way. Especially in watching video. You know, I know you can zoom and crop and everything on the iPhone, but you wouldn't necessarily have to do that if the software accommodates it outright. That's my feeling. See here. Oh, neat. Okay. I just got a notification for a bit of news that I can't necessarily talk about. But you'll find out about it soon enough. Looking for other questions if I see them. Chat's moving along fairly well. The chat is not like critical mass yet, because there are people who are not yet in it. Not everybody's necessarily going to join it, and it's a fine balance. I'm fine with not having too much activity in chat right now, but hopefully it'll increase. I hope you're all able to join it, if only for free, using a sub connection with Amazon Prime on Twitch. You know, I have a few other things that I will be doing today. Not everything that I'm going to be doing is going to be recorded outright, but I'm debating on what phone I'm going to use to record the events over the weekend at BrickCon, which I'm very much looking forward to. Looking forward to every year. And you know, I know I've got the LG V30, but you know, I just don't know if I trust myself with a camera that I'm not yet aware of. I've had some finicky issues with the camera app on the LG V30. It's nice, but you know, it's not as stable as I think it could be. So I may just be taking my iPhone 8 Plus camera with me and recording video at BrickCon. But I'm also not inclined to do anything apart from just kind of walk around like live to tape and do it that way. I really don't. I don't feel like doing video editing and splicing like I've done in the past with BrickCon, just because a lot of people aren't necessarily as interested in BrickCon as I am. I don't even know where I'd put that video. outright, because I think it would be a radical departure from the types of videos that I'd normally do. I'd like to do one even eventually, maybe even side by side, but I don't know if that's even going to be as practical. Link for Discord has expired for Patreons. It shouldn't have. It should always be connected. The orange people, that sounds really weird. The orange names are Patreon connected, so I know that is active. Tom Takumi Okamoto asks, getting the new Pixel 2? You must be new here. I'll let you catch up. Just add a little mustard on the side if you're going to catch up. But yes is the answer, both. The feeling that I have is that I think both of them are going to provide somewhat different experiences. I kind of have mixed feelings about the curved edges on the software experience on the LG V30. I will see how Google accommodates them. Hopefully in a clean capacity. We'll see. I don't know if I have made up my mind at a distance. I really want to try both of them side by side just to get a better feel for it. Like, I believe this is just overarchingly better, and I'm willing to put up with one shortcoming or another. There's no such thing as a perfect scenario when it comes specifically to a phone. There's no perfect phone. TM876 asks, when the LG V30 impressions going up? Sorry, he actually wrote out the question correctly. I misspoke it. As soon as I record it effectively, I have to do it. It's going to be what I'm going to record after I do this live video with everybody. TLDR. The podcast I'm probably going to be recording later. Live again on Twitch with subs and patrons asking questions, or you asking questions in general if you show up. Because I'm going to be doing things in the middle of the day. The podcast may be very, very later. Just FYI, but it'll be going up. It'll be going up here as soon as I record it. Now, it will not be live. I'm not going to record the LG V30 impressions video live. Louis Patino asks, "Hey Chris, does YouTube take a percentage of your super chat funds? I know you live in Washington State, which can be a very expensive state. How do you do it? Do you have a part-time job?" I've been doing my part-time job for 20 years, so I just look for the best way of getting a goal accomplished. And there's no one perfect way of doing it, and then I just refine the process over time. I'm sure there's a cut that's taken. I don't even know what the percentage is. It's another reason why I want to be able to accommodate anybody who may want to, quote-unquote, donate to the cause in any way that they, see fit. Let's say, I opened it up to Super Chat. So you could basically throw in a couple bucks. It will go. I couldn't tell you what the cut is. Just like you can watch ads. It will come to me, but I don't know what the somebody else's cut is. I don't look at that outright. I just plow forward and just create good stuff that's worthy of tipping. Even subs, I know I get a percentage stripped away. Even with affiliate sales that we make on Amazon, I get a cut stripped away. With we got deals.lockergnome.com. And you can get daily deals delivered to your inbox. And I know I get a cut scraped away. I would just rather provide good stuff to make me worthy of a sub on Twitch, to make me worthy of you becoming a patron. And so I tend not to get mired in the complexities of percentages, believe it or not. I know it happens, but I'm like, look, if I'm doing well enough, and I'm plowing forward and I'm able to grow that community base, then I'm happy. I never really pay attention to numbers. That's the thing. I know other people do. Other people, speaking of numbers I don't pay attention to, one number I have paid attention to is specifically my YouTube counts. Not just in this channel, which I believe is going to reach at least 100,000 within the next year. I think TLDR will get up to 100,000 next year. And it's not going to happen this year. It's too late. But next year, I think, with daily engagement and growth, we'll hit 100,000 subs in this channel. The other channel, with 345, it's been hovering around 345, 340 for the last 3 or 4 years for a lot of different reasons. Everyone's got their explanations. And it wasn't that I stopped producing tech videos. I didn't. I still produced tech videos in that channel. I just didn't produce them as regularly. It was a variety channel, and you can't do that with YouTube, and I learned that lesson, so I did my best to correct it. This TLDR show is a variety show. It is, but I ultimately, am just trying my best and appreciate all the support that you can give it, that you can give my effort in return, even if it's just your attention. But we hit 346,000 subscribers. That's the highest I've ever been on YouTube. I don't know if I'm ever going to make it to 1 million. I don't think I have the kind of content that it would take to get to 1 million on YouTube. I'm not as well produced as others. I tend to talk lengthily. The prospect is certainly there. I think I can hit 500,000 within 2 years, but can only do that when I get support. We'll see. That will definitely be a benchmark. That would be my next big benchmark. Is if I can hit 400,000, that's a benchmark. 500,000, a bigger benchmark. But I don't know if I can do it with the competition being what it is. Chris, install the Notch app on the LG V30 and get the iPhone 10 look. No, Aaron, I don't think I'm going to do that at all. That means you're a super special patron? Yes, you are. Every pledge level should get access. I made sure and I added that to a Discord as a value to patrons, Earl. You just have to connect your Discord account to Patreon, and that's how it works. Mark Sams asks, what do you think of the little or ultra pixel Easter egg during Google's presentation? I missed it. I totally missed it. I don't know what it is. I know people have talked about it, but it went right over my head. Jerry has over 900,000. Over 900,000? Yeah, I know I need to do another live stream with Jerry. Maybe if I'd like to see... Oh, by the way, in Discord, I don't know if we're going to do this, but you can do a group DM with each other, up to 10 people, and do a video chat or an audio chat together on Discord. We've got a separate audio conference room, which I'm not really currently actively using, apart from what's in the cantina here. But Discord's actually got some pretty neat things. I just hope that it kind of expands in terms of features. So I'd like to pull Jerry in possibly in a hangout when I get my Pixel book. I think it'd be a fun little thing to do. I'm like, I'm talking to you on my Pixel book. This is the Pixel book. What do you think? And we'll do a live TLDR hangout with Jerry and I. We'll see how that goes. I'd be fine with doing that. Regular hangouts with Jerry. It works for me, especially since now I'm doing more tech. We disagree on a great many things. There are a great many things that we do agree on, though. Mark Sam follows up and he says, when they were showing the new home screen, there was a calendar event saying Ultra Pixel meeting starting in 4 minutes under the clock. That's funny. That is funny. Oh, yeah, Richard Wooding. Love the Orville. Missed last night's episode. Can't wait to go back and watch it. It is my favorite. I love the Orville. It's a mix between silly and serious. It's a great show. You have to at least watch it. And you got to watch a few episodes in before you kind of get it. Like it's a genre bending type of show. Haven't watched Star Trek Discovery. I'm not going to pay for it. Why? Because as much as I like Star Trek, I'm a Star Wars fan. I believe both can get along, live long and prosper. But I'll watch it. I'm just going to wait for it. I will wait. Clasco Unknown asks, how's the battery been on the V30 versus S8 Plus? Have no idea, because I don't have an S8 Plus to compare it against. I left it uncharged overnight, dropped by a few battery points. But I tell you what, I was able to use it, even with a low battery percentage to begin with. I believe that the battery could very well last all day. That's my feeling. I can't back that up with empirical evidence, but I'm not someone who babysits the battery like a lot of people do. I haven't felt any pinch with needing to recharge it in the limited time that I've had with it. That's my feeling. Could a successful rollout of RCS, this is asked by IR1980, by Google, over the coming years lead to more iPhone users ditching iOS is one of the major reasons they stay because of iMessage. What are your thoughts? So if my understanding is correct, is RCS rich carrier services? Forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm not full up on the acronym words, that spell out RCS, but I do believe that it has to do with like SMS, or basically taking SMS to the next level. So that if you get an SMS from a business, images show up and their profile shows up, so you've got basically a valid, you've got a valid source. But the problem is that not only does the client have to support it, and I believe Google's Messenger supports this feature, but the carrier has to support it as well. So that's a very important thing. So you have to have a lot of people supporting it. I don't know if any carriers currently support that, if I'm understanding what you're saying. I don't know how that's going to evolve. The more I use different platforms, the more inclined I am to use the lowest common denominator in terms of supporting messaging. So that's usually Facebook, Twitter. I don't like finding myself feeling trapped, like I can't go anywhere apart from this platform. That's nerve-wracking for me. And it's been okay to do because I've largely been inside of Apple, but when you start looking outside of Apple's own experience, that's where it may get a bit challenging, especially if you're entrenched in something that they have created. So correct me if I'm wrong if that's not what RCS is, or a better definition. I would hope it would move the ball forward. Anything that would improve a consumer experience, trust me, I am absolutely all in. I apologize that the chat is getting cut off here. Let me go ahead. I'm simply just zoomed in on the screen. Let me just zoom out just a little bit. I thought I had it cropped perfectly. Hopefully you'll be able to read that just as easily. If you can't, I apologize. Let me check. Ooh, I didn't realize I was streaming at the same time. I try to minimize the bandwidth, and the YouTube Live client basically auto streams the live video so you can monitor it. So I did not mean to do that. But I don't think we've had any bandwidth issues today. Sort of a genius. Love the handle. Comes in with the next super chat. Would you pre-order the iPhone 10 if it didn't have the sensor turd? I got to think about this. I don't know. I'd be inclined to not as easily or readily dismiss it. I think I'd be a lot more warm about the iPhone 10 experience than I have been if that wasn't a glaring issue. The next issue then I would see is that software inclusion that would have to be accommodated in third-party apps. And that's where I'd start to get concerned outright. And I know Google's got software buttons, and I've got to, learn how to accommodate those differently too, but it's basically been baked in from the beginning, right? I know some older devices had capacitive buttons, but I'd be more inclined to embrace it at that point. But I'd also be a little cautious, if only because I know iOS, and that to me is probably more damaging to the iPhone 10, just the iOS slop that we've seen, than the sensor turd, as it were. I'd probably be leaning the same direction, even without the iPhone 10 being what it is. Like if it basically made it invisible for all intents and purposes, I may have done fewer videos about it, obviously, but the experience to me is all tied back to the software. And that to me is where I think Google is definitely doing a better job. I think Google's at a distance doing a fantastically better job with its software than Apple is, in every possible aspect. So it's the software to me that I think is a more compelling drive between iOS and Android than the hardware itself. So understand that. But yeah, I would be a lot more open to the idea of an iPhone 10 if it did not have such a glaring issue in hardware and how the software kind of has to wrap around it, which is frustrating to me. But it's true. I mean that's me being honest. I'd be inclined to want to try it if that was the case. But unfortunately that's not the case. But it's the software that I think is ultimately more of a driving force for me than the hardware. Gustavo Barbosa comes in with a nice pledge, or not a pledge, but a super chat. How about making every Chris Pirillo content available in the podcast? It'd make my life a lot easier, and it's barely an effort for you. We all want this, Chris. Please, I commit to being a patron if you work that out. Well, it's just I'd hate to do that because here's why. Here's why I'd hate to do that. Because it would keep people from watching on YouTube because they could listen to it in the podcast. Now, I understand, one or the other, but if I don't create something unique on another platform, it becomes a challenge. There, feasibly, and maybe we can work out a difference, there you can get a podcast feed in Patreon. So maybe if you pledge on Patreon, on any pledge level, what we could figure out how to do is how to download the audio file somehow of a YouTube video, because we got to make it easy, and then upload that to Patreon so you can subscribe to the podcast feed of TLDR as a patron. That may work out because I still want to do the live video. I still want to do super chats. I still want to have this level of interactivity, but also give a bonus for those who are pledging on an ongoing basis. So would that be a nice balance between the two? This is based upon everything that I've learned over the past 3 years too. So there you go. Chris, you should upload all podcasts to TuneIn because I find that's the best. Well, where do I submit the podcast feed to TuneIn? You have to let me know. Tweet me the link to where I submit to TuneIn. You have to remind me. Because sometimes they need to know the feed before they can include it. But you have to remind me that it's there, and I'd be happy to. I don't care where you listen to the podcast on. I really don't. Just, so long as you're listening to it. That's my feeling. People, and here's the thing. People like, for long-form content, people like listening live, but to get people to watch that video live after the fact, I know it's not the value's not as high, or the possibility is not as high. They'll watch live, but not listen live. I know they'll listen longer in a podcast, but I think there's a way to accomplish both. So let me know what you think about that as an idea. If we can figure out how to make it work easily, and if other people want it, I'd be happy to make that as a value in the Patreon system because they have the feature for it. Richard also uses TuneIn. Yeah, audio file, not to be confused with. I'm neither one. I'm neither an audio file nor an audio file. Super easy to turn YouTube videos into audio files. Really? YouTube doesn't make it easy. Like everything that I find is still somewhat of a challenge. Like I just gotta make it easy. I just want to make it easy. Narbe Masanian comes in with another super chat. Chris, is having two ecosystems an issue for you? It's becoming less and less of an issue over time, which I'm very grateful for. One of the things I loved about the internet is anybody could get to it. So, over time, I've learned that there's a, different experience on one platform or another, and ultimately found myself dissuaded from certain ecosystems. Like, there's nothing that's compelling in somebody's ecosystem if I'm already satisfied with what's happening in the ecosystem I'm using for a product here. And those values change over time. Obviously, that's how technology works. You're never a winner in a race that never ends. But what makes it difficult is to make a decision that, okay, this is what we're going to use. So, for example, we're talking about platforms. Patreon, one example. So you can basically crowdfund ongoing content experiences. The experiences that you might want from me. I left it up to patrons for the longest time to let me know what they wanted from me most. That may have been a mistake because, ultimately I did what I thought was best. It turned out for some not to be the best. But Patreon, if I go there, what are the values that Patreon offers? And is that different from the values that Twitch offers for subs or patrons? Jedi's home, if you heard that scream in the background. Is different from the value a super chat might offer on YouTube as more of a one-off type of donation scheme. Each one of them have different values. But I can accommodate them because they have different values. I can give different values to patrons and different values to Twitch subs. And the thing is they're mutually or not mutually exclusive. They're mutually inclusive. You can be both a patron and a sub at the same time and get different values altogether beyond just chat. If I think, okay, well, now we'll put TLDR as a unique podcast. If you want the TLDR as a podcast, just head over to Patreon, become a regular Patreon. You'll get your own podcast feed and you'll be good to go. So I can enable a different experience for them, but still give everybody else what they're looking for. So it's just about figuring out which ecosystem does what for you. I'm just using those as examples, folks. Because it's a legit example about how you have to accommodate. You have to work around those ecosystems, their benefits and their drawbacks. But I think you can do it. Hey, Chris, is that Wicket or Pixie barking in the background? That was Wicket. Wicket has a meteor bark, like, arr, arr, arr. Pixie's more, arr, 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 arr. Pixie's a higher pitched. When you hear Pixie going, arr, arr, you never hear Pixie, arr, 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 arr. That's Wicket. That is definitely Wicket. Oh, no, their barks are definitely distinct. Good question, though. Could probably write a script to automatically download the audio and upload it to another service. I'm not a script writer, personally. Joshua Pavey comes in with a nice super chat. That's a juicy super chat. Juicy is one of those weird words like moist. Oi. Oi in a word for some reason. It's like, what? Joshua Pavey. Thoughts on the Note 8? Well, my first thought is that I keep thinking about it because people are asking me what I think about the Note 8. I don't have one yet. It is my understanding that I may be getting one very soon. I don't know how soon. My thoughts are muted or attenuated because I understand the hardware and what it can do. I want to see how the software works. That, to me, is everything. Software. Not just the features, but the implementation. How well has Samsung done with TouchWiz? And then, with the Note 8, I want to compare what Samsung has done with its Android experience, and then compare it directly to what LG has done, and which one I think has done a better job. And I don't know if I have an answer for it outright. Or years ago, I liked the look and somewhat of the performance of the LG experience. Hasn't changed all that much since last I looked, but it's my understanding Samsung has evolved. So, my thoughts are, yes, I do want to get a hold of one. Yes, I'm working on it. But I look at it not from a hardware perspective. Other people will. Other people believe all the values wrapped up in the hardware. I don't. I believe all the values wrapped up in the software. I'm not willing to forgive the device necessarily if the software keeps me from using it, especially if there is a better software experience running Android or on Android, which, from my understanding, is not the Note 8, but would have been the Google Pixel. Now, possibly the Google Pixel 2. Whether or not that's perfect, don't know. I don't know what perfect is. I do know that if I do perceive issues with LG or Samsung or Google, I will report them. I'll say, you need to fix this. This is a problem. This is an issue I ran into. No one else seems to be reporting that in the same capacity. I know who to get to at Google to let them know about the Pixel and or Android. Wait until I stretch them up and down the rack on the on Google Play's performance if I perceive that to be an issue on the Google Pixel 2. I'm like, you may not be in charge of it, but someone is. Physician, heal thyself. Kieran Charrington comes in and says, is there any point in getting a new Apple Watch? I have the Sport still. I couldn't tell you. If you have an iPhone, sure, maybe. But I have an iPhone, and does that say everything? I'm just not a watch wearer, necessarily. Yeah, wait, see, people, some of the patrons, some of the supporters have been here. They are close personal confidants, friends. Not everybody's a friend. Trusted people. Yes, Wicket and Pixie are definitely different dogs. That is faux shizzle. We've got a few more minutes coming out, about 4 more minutes, approximately. So please, if you got questions, get them in. I'd be happy to accommodate what I can. If I'm not able to answer your question in today's TLDR, I'll do it in an upcoming TLDR. There's potential you can come to the chat room and ask it. There's the possibility that I'll be answering more questions. Definite possibility I'll answer more questions in the podcast. So don't feel bad. Don't feel like I've forgotten you and you're abandoned. Just turn on those notifications for this channel on YouTube and the Chris Pirillo channel on YouTube, and that way you will stay up to date on whenever I post a new video, live or otherwise. Can we follow you on PS4? I don't know why you would. I just as soon say no on the PS4. Pardon me. I'm so sorry. I'm inclined to say no on the PS4. Follow me if you are interested in the gaming aspect. The only channel I would suggest following is Star Wars Radar on YouTube, for a few reasons. 1, chat's integrated. 2, you're already familiar with YouTube. 3, it's just another YouTube subscription. 4, it's dedicated to Star Wars, because that's what my PS4 account would be dedicated to. And then 5, you can do super chats during the live feeds. So my recommendation is that you subscribe to the Star Wars Radar YouTube channel. I wouldn't follow me on Twitch. I don't think I'm even adding friends on Twitch. If I don't know who you are, I'm not going to add you on Twitch. Yeah, and I think you can follow on Twitch, or I'm sorry, not Twitch, PS4. I think you can follow on PS4, but again, I wouldn't. Do the YouTube thing, trust me. Dan McLaughlin asks, Chris, any thoughts on Motorola devices? Semi-stock Android, less expensive. I'd like to try the new Moto X4. I'm trying to find someone to get me introduced to someone at Motorola to get a hold of one as a review unit. I'd rather not spend $400 on one because I don't think I could recoup those costs. I really don't. Even if I did a device drive video saying, all right, guys, your super chats today will be going towards the Moto X4, I don't think we'd raise 100 in super chats, quite honestly. I don't think people want to see it. I would like to see it. I would like to try it. But I'm not. That's one of those areas where I'd rather work with a sponsor to get a review unit or getting a review unit from the source outright. Stefano Mono asks, have you tried the Smart Launcher app on Android? I don't think I have. I've tried the, what's the big one? I use it all the time, too. It's got the, it begins with N. Nova Launcher. Nova Launcher is like the launcher I think I would go with on Android if I had to choose an alternative launcher. I don't want to say too much about the LG experience. I'm not going to say it because that's today's video. Pardon me. I apologize. Again. What headphones do you use in your iPhone right now? I don't know, whichever ones I have. I don't pay that much attention to the headphones I have. Exo Valdez asks, okay, I'm looking to buy a new iPhone, a new phone soon. iPhone 10 and Note 8 ain't an option because they're over $1,000. What would you reckon? Maybe an Android One experience. You know, if you're looking to save money but having a good software experience, an Android One experience would be one that I could, at a distance, recommend. But even the Pixel 2 outright is affordable, depending on how you use it and what you use it for. If it's not the Pixel 2, which is more affordable than an iPhone 8, you know, I would drop down and start looking into the Android One experiences. If you were to go with a low-cost Android phone, that I would say Android One is as low cost as I would go. Get some coffee or something nice to clear your throat, Chris, says Moanas Kamal. Thanks. I told Diana last night, I think I'm going to have a sip of espresso soon. She's like, no, like, it's not going to kill me. It's fall. I need something like that. Earl Green mentions you can get the LG G6 for under $500. There's a good point if you're interested in the LG experience. OnePlus phones are amazing with stock Android. I reached out to media for OnePlus. I don't know if I'm going to hear from them. I don't know anybody over there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a review unit. I don't know if I could do a device drive to effectively get the new one. When they announce it, maybe I'll do one if I have not yet heard back from a media lead to get a review unit. Because the OnePlus, I think 6 is out at the beginning of the year. That's one that I am going to try to chase down. I don't have one, so I can't tell you about the experience. Sorry, not sorry. But I will be likely doing a device drive video. Basically, we'll take the super chats and then afford it if I can't find a sponsor, if I don't get a review unit. I know I'm saying a lot of these things over and over again, but y'all are asking the questions, and I got to answer them. An LCARS launcher for Android would be awesome. That would totally be cool. How has someone not done that yet? That surprises me, honestly. I'm surprised there's not like a skin for Nova Launcher for that. Someone's got to know. Is there a good LCARS launcher for Android? You know what Earl would be running. Yahoo Aviate is a good launcher? Really? Yahoo? Huh. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Didn't realize Yahoo had a launcher, let alone a good one. What's your favorite Star Wars film, asks Neil Stapleton. All of them. This may be coming close to the last question because we're now a little over an hour. Okay, maybe one more. No, that's it. That wasn't a question. Moana said maybe for a tablet or a Chromebook. I mean, now they're one and the same, honestly. I think Chromebooks are going to be increasingly important in the coming years. Certainly are in the education market. All right, everybody, you know where else I'm going to be. You know what you got to do. I've already mentioned it. I love you. I appreciate you. I will see you in chat soon, potentially. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the Force be with you.